From a probabilistic standpoint, I fail to envisage a world where this does not transpire. I recently interviewed that AI, so I can tell you with absolute certainty that this is happening at a rate and scale beyond anything you've ever witnessed. Robots are no different. Space travel is no different. In the case of the Internet of Things, it is the same. That is also true in the field of genetics. Blockchain technology is no different. These occurrences are taking place. They have no intention of stopping. Nothing can or will halt their progress. Guess what? Interest rates have been hiked by the Federal Reserve. We should expect interest rates to be higher in the long run at 4%. It will continue indefinitely. Additionally, the rate of growth of these things is exponential. Year after year, these items are increasing by 2 or 4 times. Raoul recently discussed the forces of technological progress and offered his thoughts on topics such as AI, robotics, space travel, the IoT, genetic sciences, and blockchain. He stressed how these industries are expanding at an exponential rate that is beyond our ability to understand historically. In spite of the conventional wisdom that economic variables like interest rates should be limiting this expansion, it is not only linear but is actually quadrupling year. Let's take a look at how these innovations, especially AI and blockchain, are changing businesses, economies, and societies right now, rather than just theoretical possibilities. We will also examine the ways in which these technologies are opening up new avenues of opportunity for entrepreneurs and investors. I'm attempting to convey the idea that I can empathize with your fears. I get that your worldview is limited to what you already know. Boom and bust, the Federal Reserve is terrible, oil is excellent, and markets rise and fall. Money printing inflation tales are so ingrained in our minds that it's hard to separate them. Okay, so here's what I'm saying. You can either put your money into gold, like those people who have been predicting massive inflation for a long time. Quantitative easing, currency debasement, and gold were their buzzwords as they purchased the precious metal. Plus, they will seize your gold and other assets. Despite everything that has transpired, gold is still nowhere, and the outlook is bleak. Actually, when adjusted for inflation, the gold mining equities that have been recommended in every newsletter for the past 40 years are at record lows. People believe this, and I don't want them to pass up a chance to improve themselves just because they're afraid of change. I understand your concern of AI, but how can I respond? Will I be purchasing gold or artificial intelligence? You have to put yourself in this frame of mind. Therefore, you need the broader view, yet you're stuck here. Obviously, not every business will succeed. This is where things become complicated because it's easy to believe in the trend, but we saw in the dot-com bust that not all of them succeeded. Their timing was off or their revenue didn't arrive fast enough, but now there's a company that essentially does what they did. In order for you to believe the larger story, but only if you exercise caution. All right, the correct response is the one I derived from my experience investing in cryptocurrency. The huge sale is something you purchase. I proceeded to purchase an entire basket of this exponential age material. There were no peaks when I first began discussing it, but after a 70% decline, it reached new lows. Reason being, I do have a general principle. Any company that is not going bankrupt and is down 70% or more should be owned. The inclusion of a secular topic makes it much more peculiar. The deal is still not finalized. In my estimation, it's down around 15% overall, but I'm down 30, It will likely go up tenfold, so I really don't care. In other words, you should aim for the risk-adjusted reward. If the risk-reward ratio is 30% down 30%, up 10%, then you're all in. We can still give me a 50% discount, even if I'm incorrect. All 5 of its rungs are up. Sure, that's still a fantastic wager. Even when multiplied 3 times, it remains at 10,000. Thus, that is my perspective on these matters. What I did was scatter various items throughout a basket. Consequently, many still assume I simply own ARK whenever I bring it up. I am employed by ARK, among other places. Among other things, I have a plethora of ETFs pertaining to robots. With a few individual equities, like India's Reliance, and a plethora of other things, we can spread that risk over many other names. Simply put, we don't know, and that is the crux of the matter. Still, I'm aware that the odds are in my favor if I purchase the sell-off. The lesson on Bitcoin was that we are aware of the general route, but not specific individuals will take it, as you pointed out. Thus, let us seek out a variety of options. Okay, so you've decided on a time horizon. This wager is likely to go for 5 or 10 years. Plus, it will be quite unpredictable. All well, then there are the settings. The process is really simple. All of it stems from studying things like Bitcoin's history and picking up trading lingo from a Malarcan who says, you see, the trade is the best risk-reward cryptocurrency is and always has been the best risk-reward opportunity. However, these are also intriguing for stock markets. Even if it doesn't generate as much money as crypto in the long run, I still think it's intellectually important to be a part of something so revolutionary. In any case, I can just sit here and watch Twitter. Rejecting it will leave you frustrated and angry, much like how I recall Amazon. This bit route has been discussed before. An online bookstore by Amazon? Great. Product of Amazon Kindle? Great. Do you not adore this? At this point in time, its value exceeds that of all other booksellers combined. I don't understand. Absolutely insane. Placing trades at 800 PS? I can't believe this. A macro man here. There is nothing more absurd than this. Personally, I'd rather short it than let it go. Continues to rise. Similar to Tesla. Many have recently gone through this entire ordeal with Tesla. The fact that it wasn't a bookshop is the main reason. A network it was. I wouldn't have made the same mistakes when I figured it out. That clarity is what matters. You remain committed to the trade once you get it. Determine the time horizon. What a brilliant mind Dan is. With all my macro needs, he is one of my go-to experts. Even on Bitcoin, he persisted in bothering me. The price was going down, but I'm just not interested at the moment. Nothing was available for me to use as a foundation for an investment. Plus, we lacked a solid thesis statement. Sure, business was sluggish, but nobody knew what was really driving it. The only way to get him to stop talking is to publicly interview him on Real Vision, so I do just that. And therefore, we have a fantastic discussion. I learned a lot about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies from him that I had never considered before. My main point was that Bitcoin will make a big splash during the next economic downturn. The price has been moving gently inside this triangular formation, and I've been keeping a close eye on it. Something that has reminded me of Trader on multiple occasions makes a wedge and touches it once, then goes down to the bottom, then back up to the top, and finally back down to the bottom. This is something I really enjoy seeing. After a brief ascent to the peak, it descends into the range's center before exploding to even greater heights. There is no better pattern than this little flag one. I was anticipating that this would be taking place, so that was March 2020. It dives from the peak of that wedge down into the range's center. I'm in the market for it. Therefore, I invested all of my available funds. Yeah, I was working for other companies also. I was in possession of Eurodollar futures along with other commodities, including gold. I purchased it nevertheless. I emphasized it greatly. That was at a price of about $6,500, and it goes up from there. Additionally, it rises to $68,000 before tumbling back down to its current level. It was a brilliant move on my part to switch to ETH since it generated significantly more revenue. This wager in March was significantly more than the initial wager I made. Much larger. As if I carelessly poured everything in for an excessively long time. I thought it was the origin of the t-shirt too. Yes, I understand. So I figured, okay, I bought it for a steal. Guess what? I made a killing off of it. After selling it for $2,500, I decided to buy it again, this time for a somewhat larger sum. I paid $6,500 for it, and I may have paid a little more when it surpassed $10,000. Plus, it's currently going for $20,000. That didn't occur to me at all. Yes, I felt like I had done well. Observe me. I'm adept at macroeconomics. I was able to make a profit from it after trading it. Very few people can boast such impressive crypto success. After that, I revisited the math. It just so happened to be after I established the Exponential Age, a company that manages digital assets. Additionally, I was contributing to Royal Vision Pro's Macro Insiders. I figured, I wonder how well I would have fared if I had stuck to my original thesis. Consequently, I revisited the site. I also recall the initial investment I made in Bitcoin. Also, it was a respectable sum.